Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. for the Radiant Mind Meditation with Dr. John Gray, the #1 trusted relationship expert, the author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. What many people don't know is that John Gray spent 9 years as a celibate monk and the personal assistant to the founder of Transcendental Meditation. During this time, he learned powerful meditation practices and techniques, which he has developed and refined for the last 50 years. He now brings us his resonance, wisdom, and energy every week on Wednesdays at 7 a.m. on the Soul Search Instagram Live, Facebook Live, and YouTube. Join us every Wednesday.
And good morning. The picture is a little odd this morning. I don't know why, but it is. We'll just accept that. And maybe my producer can change something in the picture. It's a little spread out. It's a different guy out there, so our eyes are closed most of the time anyway. So let's welcome you this morning. Today I'd briefly like to talk about most people are now aware of their feelings, and they say, oh, I feel like. Whenever you feel like something, I feel like I'm too lazy. I feel like I won't get this done. I feel like my partner doesn't love me. I feel like I can't get what I want. Whenever you add I feel, what you're feeling is a belief that you have. And if that belief makes you feel good, like I feel like we're going to have a great meditation today, well, that's true. So you feel good. But generally, if you feel something, a belief, so most people, these are my feelings. Well, your feelings help you understand what you're believing inside. And what you're believing inside makes you feel good, makes you feel not good, makes you feel neutral. If it makes you feel neutral, it's true. But that belief is not necessarily what you're serving you getting what you want, but it's not a lie. But whenever you have a belief that when you say, okay, I feel like I'm writing a book now. So let's say I feel like nobody will like this book. Okay, does that make me feel good? No. So it's a partial truth. So I could shift that to, do I feel like some people will like my book? Yes. All right, there we have it. Do I know what's true? No. So I have a neutral response. So that's called challenging your feelings with the reality that we really don't know if it's true or not. But the key to this is to recognize if I feel nobody will want to read my book, as an example of a negative feeling, if that makes me happy, it's probably true. If that makes me unhappy, then I want to challenge that belief. It's called a limited belief. It's partially true, but not necessarily completely true. Anytime you're upset, you're believing something that's partially true. I mean, haven't you ever believed something like, oh, the world is falling apart? And then the next day you realize, well, it's not really falling apart. This is falling apart. What happened there is you expanded your context to say, yes, this is true, but all this other thing is true. So that's yes, but. Now, some people, when they have stress and negative beliefs causes stress, is that when you have something good happen, and this happens a lot for people, when you go, oh, this is really great, but it won't last. Oh, my partner is really loving me. They care about me. But the other day they didn't, so they must not. So we want to organize our brain so that when we're feeling things, to realize this is a danger zone. People today are very lost because this ability to feel what's going on inside of you has increased as a stage of higher consciousness. It's a greater connection between the left and right hemispheres of the brain. That one part of the brain can know what the other one is. And therefore, instead of just having this separate part of the brain, we're saying, that's a part of me. That's a part of me. I know that to be true. So when you're feeling not good, you look at, okay, what belief am I feeling? I feel like, or I feel that. Okay, that's a beginning stage. That's like, ow, I have a bruise on my arm. Let me soothe it. I got a cut. Okay, you don't just keep saying, I got a cut, I got a cut. Now your body goes into motion to heal it. So you start with, I feel like. What's my belief associated with that feeling? And then recognize that belief is causing me to have a negative emotion. And when you have that negative emotion, your brain wants to immediately get rid of it because that's a painful thing. So, to simplify it, our most powerful healing negative emotions when we're actually experiencing cortisol are anger, sadness, fear, and regret. So when we feel regret, feel sadness, feel anger, feel afraid, those are painful emotions. Doesn't feel good, does it? No. So we have to realize this is called emotional pain. And when you feel, when you identify, when you give words, which come from the prefrontal cortex, self-reflection, identification of emotions, which are in your limbic system, the middle part of your brain, you're now in control of your emotions. Your higher intelligence says, well, I don't want to go around feeling angry all the time, then I'll never have love. I don't want to go around feeling sad all the time, then I won't be happy. I don't want to go around feeling afraid all the time, because I'll never take action. And I don't want to go around feeling bad all the time, or I don't feel worthy of receiving love. So there you have it. You want to be able to get rid of these negative emotions. And the way you do that is you feel one, and you feel another, and you feel another, and you feel another. Those are the 4 levels of emotion. And you associate them with this negative belief you're holding on to, and then go through those 4 levels of emotion. And it's a different order, but generally speaking, for most people, if you have, it just depends on, based upon your, what's called your history, your generational lineage of how did your ancestors or your parents, who are reflected by your ancestors, deal with trauma, because we have a huge traumatic past. So many generations back, life was very traumatic in some ways not, because they didn't have enough consciousness to even feel what they were feeling. But we had fight or flight responses, and when you stay in a chronic fight or flight stance, you stay either fighting, aggression. Some people, they're just all about fighting and pushing, and other people are all about fear. Okay, that's their stress response. They tend to be so afraid, they'll believe whatever the mother, father tells you, whatever the authorities tell you. You just, okay, I'll believe that and follow that. They can't think for themselves. So when you process your emotions, you say, well, the belief is this, and that makes me feel this emotion. So if I feel no one like my book, then the first reaction is, for me, not anger. I don't get mad at people. I figure, I guess I wrote a lousy book. I feel afraid. I feel paralyzed if I'm stuck in fear. So that's the fight, flight. Another one is fake. That's pretend. This is called denial. It's pretending. It's suppressing, acting as if. And all those, aggression is important sometimes. Fear is important to listen to sometimes. If the fear is real, Okay, if the fear is real, it doesn't have the emotional charge to it. Somebody comes in the room, I'm afraid. Okay, there's something really to be afraid of. You'll actually be very calm, because I know many times bad things I was afraid would happen, when they finally happen, okay, done. What's next? You go forward from there. Anyway, these are some thoughts to encourage you in your life when you're feeling negative, to look at what belief you're experiencing and challenge that belief, because it has to be partially true if you don't feel good. And if you don't feel good, then what is the emotion that goes with not feeling good? So today we're going to be doing our meditation. We'll start with our hands up in the air. I really don't know what's wrong with the setting today on the computer to make this picture. But my eyes will be closed anyway. It feels like somebody else over there. Okay, so I'll keep our hands up into the air. And what happens when your hands are in the air, just biologically, is that the gravity is pulling down the blood. When your arms are down, blood goes all the way to the fingertips. And also, it's simultaneously fingertips is we tend to have our greatest ability to feel on the fingertips, because that's how we touch people. So when you touch people, you're feeling people, you're connecting to our fingertips. And just keep your hands up in the air a little bit. And then we're also going to change our breath. So make sure we're out of fight or flight response. Coming back into being in this moment, we use the breath. And the whole idea with the breath is to breathe in, hold it a little bit, and then breathe out longer. So it might look like breathing in to a count of 4, holding it to a count of 5, and exhaling to a count of 6. That's one process. There's so many books on breathing. You have all these, but the basic theme always is breathe it in, hold a little bit, and breathe out slowly and longer. And many people breathe out through their mouth. I'm not so much into that. So just breathe in through our nose as we keep our hands in the air. And right now you're probably noticing it's a little strained, and you're noticing your hands tingling. So we'll just do this another 30 seconds with our hands in the air. As we breathe in, imagine breathing in through your fingertips. Hold and exhale. And breathe in. Hold and exhale. Breathe in. Hold and breathe out. And when you breathe in, fill your belly with air. Hold and breathe out. Breathe in. Hold and breathe out. And probably your arms are getting tired and feeling the tingling in your fingertips. Now we can do our little prayer. Dear God, divine presence, conscious intelligence permeating all of the universe, benevolent, loving. Dear God, our heart is open to you, arms out to the side. Dear God, slowly bring your arms down. Our hearts are open to you. Come, which means come into our awareness. Bringing the hands to the shoulders. Come. Now slowly brings the hands together. And fill us with your love, fill us with your life. This is the intention. Bless this day. As I'm writing a book, I'll say, help speed me along to finish this book. And help it to be my best book. Help it to help the world, bless the world. Help it to sell many, many copies. Bless the abundance in my life. Help it to become a #1 bestseller. Bless it. And think for yourself now. That will serve me personally, but what is it that you're wanting? Feel in your heart your desires and ask for blessings to help you find your way to achieve that goal. And feel the energy between the palms. If you don't, then slowly bring your hands apart. And slowly bring your hands together. And as they come together, palpate. And back and forth a little bit, little movements, palpating. So you feel there's a ball of energy between your hands. And place that ball of energy in your heart with gratitude. Thank you for these blessings. And then put your hands out in front of you. Like this, show you how I'm doing it, like you're offering. And have that ball of energy in your hands. Offer. Offer your heart. Use this ball of energy. To bless this day, to fulfill our needs. And now slowly circle around like this. And do the movement. Just creating a wide scope, slowly doing it. And now do it with more awareness. And with this, using the ball of energy. Fill. Bless this day. Fill me with your love and light. Bless this day. Send your healing angels of light and love, of wisdom, of purity, of goodness. Now, in this calling in the angels, your hands come down, your palms are down. It's symbolic of now it's happening. I've set it in motion. I am surrounded by love and light, conscious intelligence that guides me. And I give thanks as I align myself with that and effortlessly receive that support. And that's where your hands go like this, back in your palms. So you're sitting with your palms open. Now these are just physical movements to ground us into these first stages of meditation. Now we are like magnets drawing in positive energy. Feel the energy flowing in through your hands, your palms. If you can, put a little smile on your face. It's like, thank you. Because your intent was to receive energy through your fingertips, to bless this day. And We're saying thank you to God's angels, the energies of the universe. You called, you received. Thank you. Thank you. Using this ball of light by your healing angels, I'm receiving your blessings. And as you sit with your hands in this ball of light, imagine that ball of light just expanding to surround your whole body. Let it flow in through your fingertips, to your palms, to your elbows, to your shoulders, to your heart center, your actual heart. Let it be filled with light and energy. This is called body scan, just sending awareness, energy, light, feeling, whatever works, whatever's easiest for you. Now to your lungs is a big thank you. Take a few deeper than usual breaths. Imagine that energy just flowing to the lungs for healing, blessing, or just to feel grateful. Now to your liver. And from your liver to the left side of your body, through your whole stomach and small intestines, your colon, your big intestines, your colon, that whole area. Let your awareness go to your kidneys, as if you're bringing awareness to your back, lower back. And as we meditate together in this body scan, we meet in the quantum realm in one place at any time. And let your awareness go down to your knees, ankles, and your feet. And come up from the ankles to the knees, to the hips, to the base of the spine. And now, let energy flow from the fingertips to the shoulders, to the belly, to the feet, back up to the base of the spine. As this circle happens, inch up the spine a few inches. A few more inches. A few more inches. Beginning to draw the energy up the spine, like drawing in water through a straw. All the way behind the belly button. Up to the solar plexus. Up to the center of the chest, heart. And now up to the neck, where the spine connects with the brain, the skull. And go up and down the spine a few times, just to solidify that awareness. And now as the energy flows to the back of the head, the back of your skull, the back of your brain, imagine light. Feel the energy there. Let the energy be light. And from the back of the brain to the forehead. Let the energy flow, and let the energy be light. And from the forehead, return to the back of the head. Back and forth from the back of the head to the forehead, forehead to the back of the head. From the right ear to the left ear. From the left ear to the right ear. Filling your head with light, your brain with light. And from the left to the right ear to the left, the back of the brain to the front, where the two lines intersect is your pineal gland. Let your attention go to the pineal gland, like a ball of light, a pinpoint of light. And from that pinpoint, let a line of energy flow up to the top of the head. And from the top of the head, imagine energy flowing straight down through the brain, through the neck, to the heart. And repeat this a few times. Energy from the back to the forehead, from the right ear to the left ear to the right ear, to the top of the head, down to the heart, from the heart to the top of the head. All intersecting at the pineal gland. Imagine it becoming brighter and brighter. And now imagine a ball of light 2 feet above your head. As if you can be inside that ball of light as a pinpoint. drawing in energy from all directions. And from that point, sending energy out in all directions. And from that spot, that pinpoint, 2 feet above your head, begin to spiral a golden white light. Feel it, know it is light. Begin to spiral down to create a cocoon around your whole body. And extend your arms out all the way to the side. So it becomes at least a ball of light that extends, an oval, egg-shaped ball of light. It begins spinning around you from 2 feet above, spinning wider, so that as it gets to the heart level, it contains your arms, reaching out, a big ball of light, spinning it around 2 feet above your head, gradually coming down to the level of your ears and forehead. Spinning around all the way out. Your arms can come back and relax as you have that sense of distance, the size of your energetic body. Just tracing around the level of the shoulders. Let's do this together. All the way to the level of the elbows. Cocooning, creating a beautiful golden white cocoon of light. And this is using your imagination to tune into what's already there. Letting it come down to your hips. No hurry. And if you're sitting cross-legged, then imagine that you're standing in the air so you can get a full body experience of this ball of light that surrounds you. Spacious, golden white light. All the way down to your knees. All the way down to your ankles. All the way down to your feet. And you're going to slowly finish the cocoon of light, the egg-shaped energetic field around you, creating a definition between you and what's outside that cocoon. All the way down 2 feet below. Where it comes together, it's like you're sewing a cocoon of light, and now you tie a knot. from the bottom of this cocoon to the top of this cocoon. Once again, let's weave it, make it even stronger in our awareness, a little faster, bringing the weaving action, golden white light, wide, big cocoon of light, all the way down to the heart, to the hips, to the knees, ankles. And now we're going to do the reverse. Starting 2 feet below, begin weaving a cocoon counterclockwise, going back up, up to your knees, a golden white ball of light to the level of your hips, to the level of your heart, to your shoulders, neck, all the way to your ears. Remember to keep a little smile to the top of your head. All the way 2 feet above. Now have a sense of reviewing that energy coming up and around and around and around. And going back, coming down, going around and around clockwise. Weaving a cocoon of light. Going back up. Weaving a cocoon of light. And bring it back down, clockwise, bringing it down. All the way down to below the feet. And bring it back up, spiraling a cocoon of golden white light. All the way up to the waist, to the heart, the shoulders, to the head. So counterclockwise on the way up and clockwise on the way down. As you're moving the energy up and around, imagine being able to move the energy clockwise, going down, and then do together. And now imagine this cocoon of light filling up with divine energy, drawing energy in from all directions, up, down, right, left, from the front and from the back, filling up. And as it fills, there's a more concrete sense of, it's like it's being filled with water from the bottom and coming up. Take time to do this. Drawing energy in from above, from below, from the right, from the left, from the front and the back. And as it is drawn in, it fills up even more, all the way up to your knees, to your hips, like standing in water, all the way, going deeper into the water. It fills up to your chest. Going further into the water of golden white light. It fills up to your neck. Now, you step forward into the water, that sensation of going underwater. The water, the light, the feeling, the energy goes all the way up to the top of your head as you're submerged in golden white light. And now you bask in the light of love, peace, ease, comfort. And as this cocoon fills with light, let it expand out now to include the whole room. Imagine being with me in my room as time and space dissolves in the oneness. Join me in my room here in California, near San Francisco. Filling this room, expanding out to include this room in a bubble of light as we come together. And let it expand over the whole house, the property, over the town of Mill Valley, including the mountain, Mount Tamalpais, across the Golden Gate Bridge to San Francisco, expanding out to all of California, Northern California, Southern California. Just expanding out in all directions up to Alaska, down to Mexico, South America, all across West Coast to East Coast of the United States, up into Canada. Across the Atlantic Ocean, including all of Great Britain, England, Ireland, Scotland, all of Europe, containing the whole planet in our bubble of light as we expand out. All of Europe, Russia, China, Korea, Japan, the whole area, Malaysia, Australia, of course, all of India, Africa, South Africa, Antarctica, North Pole. So just we expand out to include the whole sphere, planet Earth. Expanding into space, containing the moon, containing Mars, Venus, Mercury, expanding out to include the sun, the outer planets, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, maybe even expanding out farther and farther to Nobu. Someone say that planet exists. It's expanding out further into infinite space, all contained in your bubble that's expanding out, the bubble of your awareness, your consciousness. As you expand out, we align ourselves with the great consciousness that permeates the whole galaxy. All of these solar systems, suns, stars, which are all within our galaxy, that we are a tiny, tiny part of. Our consciousness expands to include all, from our galaxy to huge, huge amount of space to another galaxy, and another galaxy. To another galaxy. You hold these galaxies in your awareness, just a sense of expanding to contain the all. Let the boundaries of your bubble drop away. And merge. Merge into the all. Imagine being like a sugar cube dissolving into the water. So peaceful. So unbounded, unlimited. Timeless. Peaceful. And bring your awareness into your body. And feel that infinite light inside of you and every cell of your body, and your cocoon of light around your body. And once again, weave that cocoon of light from the base 2 feet below, let it weave around, going up. 2 feet above, coming down. Now simultaneously coming down and up. Infusing, drawing in energy from your right, from your left, from your front, from your back, from above, up from below. Calling in, drawing in energy, love, and support. Filling you up from the infinite into form. As we include into our awareness all of this group that we're meditating together. And in a timelessness, all the people who for the rest of the day will be using this tape to meditate. We include them in this moment, timelessness. And the people tomorrow, the people the next day. Feel peace, feel energy flow. As we go in a timeless zone, bringing in the future into this moment. All the people that will listen to this in the future, bringing their consciousness together. Infusing our energies together. And now we expand back out as a group consciousness permeating into the universe. Permeating into the universe. Expanding and drawing in simultaneously. As we draw the energy in simultaneously, let's radiate it back out as light in our forehead, beaming out the front of our head, out the back of our head, out to the right, to the left, up, down. We become a sun, radiating energy. And as we radiate this energy, we also aware that we're reflecting the divine energy of God through us, blessing the world, using us to bring light where there's darkness. To help when we are needed. Wisdom where there's ignorance. Love where there's fear. Feel the joy of letting that light flow through you, and feel grateful to be alive at this time, for the blessings in our lives and the opportunities to bring more light into this world of darkness, as the secrets are being revealed, as the darkness is being seen and the light flows in. When I count to 3, feeling you as a beautiful channel of God's light and love. When I count to 3, we'll open our eyes together and feel refreshed and peaceful and purposeful. 1, 2, 3. Open our eyes, feel refreshed. Well, that was a nice meditation. I really enjoyed that with everybody. Thanks for joining me. I want to remind you, you can look forward to the new book that I've been writing, which is called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, How to Talk So Men Will Listen. Secrets of Lasting Love, Romance, and Passion, or something along that lines. Seems like everything I do is about that. And it's a wonderful, wonderful book. There's so much research on the brain and on the hormones that has never been gathered together. And, you know, I wrote this book, Beyond Mars and Venus, based upon my research over many, many years, putting together the hormones and so forth. But now, and then having to write down all where I got it and all that was too much for me. I just took the ideas in my head, put them in the book. And people are like, well, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? I said, just do Google searches. Well, now, any point in my book, I've gone through all of my points. And with ChatGPT, it will bring up the study. It will bring up the research that verifies and validates every single idea. And Beyond Mars and Venus has research that backed it up. Because I would read these studies and see this stuff and just remember it, take the idea, and don't remember exactly who said it, where it was, whatever. So now there's going to be references. So in my new book, oh my gosh, I'm not sure if I'm going to do this, but I think maybe I have to create a website of 500 pages of references to validate, based upon actual tests of the brain scans, of movements in the brain, of activation of hormones, etc., with certain combinations. One of the most recent ones, as I was formulating these ideas for the new book, is that, which isn't in my Beyond Mars and Venus book, but when women are on their male side, focusing on things that create testosterone, obviously they're not producing estrogen. They're more independent. They're not feeling dependent on support. They're going to make more testosterone and more estrogen. And that requires, for health and wellness, it requires a balance of those two things. So what happens is when we go out of balance, the body experiences stress, produces stress hormones. That's why whenever women's testosterone is high and their estrogen is low, there is cortisol. Now that's already known. But what I didn't know, and I was doing all this research, is that for women, when cortisol goes up, even when adrenaline goes up, that's that level 1 stress, and level 2 stress is cortisol. Level 3 stress is chronic cortisol. 3 different hormonal imbalances in the body for each one, and the tools for each one are different. So when you have the imbalance, which is so common today, when women are working, their estrogen levels go low, then the hormone cortisol gets released. We know that it's a biological reality. And then what I didn't know that I've learned now through the research is that when cortisol is released, oxytocin is produced. And the function of oxytocin is not, it doesn't lower your stress, as all the research studies in the past have shown. What oxytocin does is it creates an awareness of, I need emotional support to balance my estrogen. So imagine you're giving someone a hug and you feel, oh, I need this. That's the oxytocin. But the stress reduction is because I'm getting what I need, and that's the estrogen levels going up. This is my theory, which is putting it all together, which has never been written before. It's fantastic. And you just have to combine, the elements of that. That's all proven. When women's hormones are out of balance, cortisol gets produced, oxytocin is produced. Because research shows that just because you have oxytocin, it doesn't lower your stress. It's you have oxytocin, which motivates you to get emotional support. And if you get emotional support, then your estrogen levels go up. And it's the estrogen levels that are going up that allows stress levels to go down, which is the premise of Beyond Mars and Venus, which nobody's ever written before. We have this idea that oxytocin is released and it lowers your stress. Because when, let's say you're in a hug, you feel like you're a little stressed, you give a hug, oxytocin goes up and it makes you feel, I need a hug. And then if I need a hug and I get a hug, now your estrogen goes up and your stress levels go down. Beautifully said. So I'm very excited about that, because this whole idea of oxytocin lowering your stress, it doesn't. It actually increases your stress. When stress levels go up due to the imbalance of hormones, oxytocin goes up, causing a woman to feel, this is just for women, not for men, but causing her to feel the need for the stimulation that would produce estrogen. If she doesn't get that stimulation to produce estrogen, called work-life balance, she's working. Now, if she doesn't get that support, then the workplace becomes more stressful for her. There's a feeling of not enough. Well, that feeling of not enough gets projected on whatever your attention is on. Your body is saying not enough support. Well, what is the support we need in the workplace? Not enough appreciation, not enough money, not enough time. So her brain focuses on her male side, not enough. When she comes home, if she doesn't get the nurturing she needs in her personal life, then she'll feel not enough time, not enough support in order to achieve my goals, as opposed to not enough support in order to stimulate my estrogen. So it has to be a clear understanding for women of the importance and the need for emotional support. Now, what if she never received emotional support? Well, that wouldn't be good. Then she doesn't even know what she's missing. And when you don't know what you're missing, basically you go looking for it. You try getting it. And if she tries getting it, and in our society, the way you get love and support is you become masculine, because the masculine side is what in our culture gets respect, gets admiration, gets money, gets everybody's love. And in her mind, she knows that if a man was to treat her that way, she would love him. So if she doesn't feel loved, she thinks, oh, I'll be like a man and then I'll get love. But then what happens is she ends up going further to her male side, in balance with her estrogen. That produces cortisol. Cortisol releases oxytocin. Oxytocin tells her she needs love and support. And in her mind, she only knows I get love and support by going to my male side, because that's who gets love and support, respect. All the books, every book on gender talks about, oh, men need respect. If you're on your male side, you deserve respect. No, we have a culture that doesn't realize if you're on the female side of us, the mother, the life source, what we're created from, that deserves the greatest respect. That's the divine. Such amazing shift. This is all of in my new book. It's quite amazing. So what happens is that women on their male side, in balance with estrogen, their cortisol levels rise. The response in the body when cortisol goes up is oxytocin gets produced, which says, I need more. But her mind has to tell her, I need more emotional support. And the opposite occurs in men. When men experience stress levels, even adrenaline, these mirror cells in the brain turn off. For women, mirror cells are on all the time, which is empathy, thinking about what other people need, other people need, other people need. And when she's under stress, they open even bigger, which means she's more aware of other people's needs. And she feels overwhelmed to fulfill the needs of other people because she can't come back to recognizing how she can get her needs fulfilled. So she's in a relationship with a man, both are under stress, his mirror cells are turned off. They just turn off. As soon as adrenaline gets produced, they turn off, which means he's incapable of feeling what somebody else is feeling. For her, she feels the emotional need in order to basically have someone feel what she's going through. That's emotional support. And so in her mind, because she's from Venus, so to speak, what women do if they want to talk and be heard, they first have to listen. That's polite. It would be rude to just be selfish and go, hey, listen to my feelings. Whereas on Mars, we're fine. If listening to your feelings will make you happy, then fine. So what an amazing amount of information to help understand this almost comic tragedy of, at a time of stress, women need more, a man needs less and shuts down, not because he's narcissistic. That's all women go, oh, he's narcissistic, he's emotionally unavailable. And of course, for her to feel worthy of sharing her feelings with what she needs, her mindset is from Venus. You can't just go and talk about your feelings unless you pay a therapist. You have to first pay the price of listening to another woman. Let me give to you, then I'll deserve to receive. So, and she doesn't know that this man would even be interested in what she's feeling because his empathy is shut off. She can't detect his interest in her. He's not making oxytocin, which would cause him to want to connect and be emotionally supported. He's not feeling that at all. So she's feeling isolated. She assumes he's unapproachable, and therefore she can't get what she needs. And therefore she can't, basically, her stress level increases. I can't get what I need. Her estrogen levels go down, rather than recognizing when a man's shut down like that, when his mirror cells turn off, incapable of feeling what somebody else is feeling. All she has to do is ask for help. Because now other research shows that when a child, for example, when a man is with a child, his mirror cells open up right away. That's why we like being with children. If we can feel so much, we can feel the childlike part of us, particularly men can do that, although that will produce a lot of estrogen and can make him tired. But still, that's what opens his receptors, his mirror cells up, is the vulnerability of a child. And the same is true. That's one distress, woman who's vulnerable, woman who needs help. If she articulates her need for help, he can't intuit her need for help because his receptor sites are closed. But if she reveals her vulnerability and that I need your help, would you listen to me? Would you hear my feelings? Would you help me with this? Then what that does, vulnerability in a woman opens his receptor site, opens his mirror sites. That then allows him to feel needed. When he feels needed, it raises his testosterone and gives him motivation to help. But that surge in testosterone, in terms of helping, doesn't happen unless she first awakens his mirror cells by being vulnerable. And of course, the ultimate for a man is what will cause his testosterone levels to double is when a woman's being very vulnerable. That's called romance. When a woman is romance, what happens is a man's testosterone shoots way up because it is sexual attraction in men preceded by woman needing him. And if it's a sexual relationship, she can experience the full opening of his mirror neurons, which allows him to feel her vulnerability the most. And that raises his testosterone the most. So this is when men can feel more loving. And it's the foundation, the biological foundation of what I've been teaching, which is the purpose of sex for men on the basic biological level, why it's so important. It allows us to feel compassion. And it's only compassion that motivates us to help other people. Otherwise, we're just motivated only for ourselves, rather than being motivated for yourself to get what you need in order to be of service to others. That compassion. And the ancient Tibetan wisdom, which always for people seems contradictory, but for me, it didn't. I understood this, and that was the male side of us arises to compassion. It's the embodiment of compassion. And of course, that's a lot of Tibetan Buddhism. Is all their whole practice is compassion for others. That increases testosterone in men, and that's the opening of the mirror cells. And of course, it's the vulnerability of other people and wanting to serve that opens them, or it's sexual attraction. And that also opens his mirror cells. He feels deep compassion and love for his wife, wanting to please her. And so in sex, he can literally feel the pleasure in her body. So providing pleasure for her pleasure increases. And so as her pleasure increases, he can now feel not only pleasure, but with a little bit of direction of the mind, he can feel more love. And as he feels more love through feeling her pleasure, he can feel more. Now, if he chooses to feel more love, he can find it. If it's there, he can find it. And that love, by the way, grows over time. But that love he can feel, now she is feeling all this pleasure. Her receptor sites open up, and she can now feel his love for her more. And so her emotional need for reassurance goes up even higher. And this is why women who are more strong, independent women often want more romance and romantic love from a man. Why? She wants it from a man because it can raise much higher levels of estrogen through romance than all of her other types of relationships. Family, with friends, with work, with herself. All those things can raise estrogen, but nothing, it doesn't hit the top level as the experience with a man. Now, so this means a woman can certainly be happy if she has a life full of external support, but it's much of her day without a man. But if she basically is strong on her male side during the day, like so many strong independent are, then they need that higher dose of estrogen to find balance in their lives. It's a fun book. You got the summary of a lot of what's in there, and then practical tools and techniques in order to make all that happen. But there's a framework that needs to be done. And I did that framework in about 15 minutes. So it's been a pleasure to spend this time with everybody. This is my weekend. I'll be shifting around my relationship weekend to a different one, which integrates more of my earlier work, which I used to do because I needed it in my life. And then I evolved to higher levels where you have more wisdom. Well, this is going to be more of an experiential weekend of processing emotions. I'm inspired to do that because I want to help change the wiring in the brain of people so they don't become so triggered and get so upset. And it turns out that, according to the research, is that if you want to get into healing the generational trauma that we store in our DNA, you need to have intense emotion for that. This is why the feeling letters have always been so powerful. And I stopped having these intense emotional workshops because I didn't have this clarity. The clarity is back then, if you have intense emotion, you just get addicted to it. But if you have, now based on my work integrating the past, I said, well, then I don't want to have people dwell too much in intense emotion. But you need that intense emotion to activate the memory of the healing that occurs. And that then changes the DNA and rewires the brain so that at times of intensity, you don't have your ancestral reaction to go into fighting, flighting, faking, or freezing, which I call folding. So it's four F's. And so we're gonna work on going back to some of my early work where we did intensity, because what happened is I saw the primal scream people who would just sort of go into a coffin and scream. They'd always feel good, but they were not good at coming back to love. They can turn on any emotion. They can remember these emotions, but they couldn't, they were unforgiving. They had big, huge problems in the relationship. Because when you ever go to that intensity, you have to not just get it out, but then you have to bring in the response letter, the response to that, which can now reestablish in that traumatic moment, you're getting love and support, understanding and empathy. Then what happens is you imagine, how would that make you feel? So it's very profound. We'll see how it goes this weekend. So this is going to be a fantastic weekend class for those who can change your mind now and come. This is a good time to do it. Get all these fresh new ideas and new experiences. And that will be this upcoming Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then on, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we all day Friday, all day Saturday, and half of Sunday. And then that evening, I'll be giving a talk for Tangela, which is, I'll be speaking in San Rafael, March 9th at 5 o'clock. And that'll be a free talk. And I'm sure that will be all based on what I just shared with you, but a whole talk, again, on how to communicate so a man will listen. Although that's the fundamental ideas of it. It just talks about the most important thing for modern women is to be able to communicate their feelings to a man, particularly if they're married, or to a therapist or coach if they're not, if they're way on their male side. If you're way on your male side, just talking to other women actually can make it worse. And that's a whole nother thing. You need to have either a man you're talking to or someone you're paying who is not interacting with you to share their feelings, but to truly be 100% there for you. And that's the whole idea for men, which is men don't need to talk about their feelings. I talk all about that and how men need to reflect on their feelings and process them internally or through writing, but never through their spouses. Although that's a sweet idea, what happens is it disturbs the polarity. When a man has strong emotions, a woman goes into her male side, and that's not helpful. When a man goes into deep feelings of insecurity and fear, that will trigger a woman's fear because she depends on him. And so that can make it worse. So a lot of dynamics in that area of why men should not do this with their wives. Women can do it with their husbands, but men can do it with a female therapist. Men can do it with a male therapist. And sometimes when it's childhood feelings, a female therapist is better. A female coach is better. If it's more just dealing with the stresses of your life. But when it goes down to the early childhood feelings, often you're like a child. Having a woman be there for you is very helpful to process your feelings with her. So in the workshop, men will be processing their feelings with other women because I'll be taking them back to childhood. And yet that polarity is lost, but that's okay. You don't need to have polarity. You basically You're mutually supporting each other. You're not creating a sexual relationship which depends upon polarity. That's not a good thing to do. Because a woman will go into her mothering feelings automatically. She'll go right into nurturing when a man is vulnerable. It's the worst thing. What a woman wants vulnerability from man is to realize masculine vulnerability is, I'm going to take the risk to commit to you. I'm going to take the risk to provide something for you, because if I provide something, that's me. And if you reject that, it hurts a lot. I'm going to take the risk to initiate sex. And if you reject me, that's going to hurt more than anything. And so, this is where we get into the dynamics of great sex. Again, one have to understand that men complain all the time that women don't initiate sex. And it's important for men to initiate sex, but it's important for women not to reject them. And how can that happen without a woman ever having sex out of obligation? I've got solutions for it all to bring back the passion in relationships. That will be another book, which will be on Secrets of Great Sex. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, Secrets of Great Sex. I told you my goal this year is to write 10 books. So I got all these books going on in my head. I'm working, from morning to night. It's so interesting. Suddenly all my clients are feeling so much better in their lives. They don't need me anymore. And I'm not taking any new clients. So I have more time to write these books. It's just a whole flood of motivation now to, I've been, ever since Bonnie died, I basically said, I've got 5 books to write, but just didn't have the motivation. I needed to heal. And I was just so wounded. I just felt so depressed. I didn't want to live. I was so hurting inside in waves, not all the time, but not enough motivation. And then I got a pretty much, lots of, after I healed, I got married, lots of sex, lots of fun, lots of eating out, lots of exercise, lots of just good life with counseling and teaching. That's all easy stuff for me. The hard stuff is writing a book. So what really kicked me into gear was this year, last year, although, I'm doing great, having a good time, but it was a hard year because my business partner died. And then we found out that the fund in which I put $6 million into my life savings, $6 million, which was supposedly making $30 million because in stock and so forth, it crashed and he died. And then at these companies, I tried to save the companies, spent a lot of money trying to save them and couldn't. That's why it all crashed. And I was just handing it off, assuming everything was working fine. The stocks was worth this and so forth. And bang, all gone one day. And over the year, trying to salvage his estate, whatever, because it was all left to me. And it turns out that he had lots of lawsuits and lawyers. And I spent a lot of money with lawyers trying to get the assets there. And I realized it's not going to happen. So I had to let it all go. And these are just the problems that come along with life. I dealt with it quite well, but it was a big stress. And then what happened? I woke up this year and now having lost my whole savings, having lost my savings, I said, I have to make money. And I do, I can make money, but I need to make a lot more money to support all the people I support. So I said, okay, then I'll write books. That's what's always rewarded me. I'll do the hard work. So this is an example. When you have to do something, you find the power to do it. And if life is too easy and comfortable, you don't have the power to do it. And I'm sure I haven't tested it. I think my testosterone levels are charging really, really high, but I'm very, very happy. I'm working so hard. I'm sleeping so well. It's amazing when a man is required to do something and he feels mission and purpose and also quite capable, the energy's there. So I'll be sharing that story in the new book as well. There's a section in the book where I talk about how stress can actually transform your brain wiring. Your brain can't be rewired unless you experience intense emotion, intense loss, intense challenge, or intense exhilaration. Any of these things, intensity of emotion is what allows you to rewire your brain from the programming received in childhood, which all came from ancestral programming, because our parents were programmed by their generation and generation before. It goes back 7 generations. So what we have in our life is stress hormones. And when you can get to the high stress hormones and then process it, because that will bring up the intense emotions, then by processing it, you can change the wiring in the brain. If you live in stress all the time, that's chronic stress. That's the 3rd level of stress. It's very hard to rewire your brain. But at the 2nd level of cortisol, the 1st level, adrenaline, you don't rewire your brain, but you're able to feel good and feel good in your life. But they actually change the wiring in names intensity. And if the intensity is felt, but you don't know how to process it, you repress it, then what you have is chronic stress. You haven't done something to heal it. And so now you have chronic stress. And chronic stress is not a good place to be. But there are solutions. So I talk about, 3 solutions for the 3 levels of stress level that you're experiencing. It's really great. So looking forward to sharing that book with everybody. Looking forward to this weekend where we'll be exploring rewiring the brain, emotional intensity, healing, love, understanding men and women's differences. It's hard to squeeze all that in a weekend, but the insights will not be as practical, because people can ask me questions. If there's 30 people in the room, that's 30 talks. They ask a question, and so I get into answering everybody's questions, which is very helpful, but they don't experience the deep rewiring that will change their lives in a different way. And my books and my tapes and my podcasts and my talks can provide that for people. They don't have to have me in person to hear my information. Although there is a benefit of being resonant with me when I'm teaching, just like there's a benefit you get the benefit of my experience of meditation when you're meditating with me. And I get the benefit of letting more light and love flow through me. So it's a mutual thing. So I think that's enough for today. I need to get back to my book and start writing, but that was a little additional 30-minute talk for those who hung in there. And we'll finish up now. Can you put up on the chart? We did put in the next Soul Search talk. Also want to mention that transformation gives you energy. If you're feeling overweight, if you feel you look in the mirror and you feel powerless to change your body and you want to change your body, and I think health is very, very important. I look at my body, and when my belly gets too big, I want to change it. Not because I don't feel lovable, because my wife says, I don't care about that. And a lot of men, have these bellies. I know that when I have a big belly, I'm producing excess estrogen and it lowers my testosterone. So that's not healthy. And being overweight is not healthy. And we've got this whole movement of love yourself just the way you are. Yeah, love yourself just the way you are, enough to want to make yourself healthy and do something. So that's where we have our program that we support. There's lots of programs. You get coaches to help you lose weight and so forth. We provide free coaching to lose weight if you use the Isogenics products. The Isogenics products is a company I've been affiliated with for so many years. And my partner in that is Ellen. And if you go to contact us at the bottom of the page at Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, contact us. If you can start with $200, it's not for her, it's for the product. Then what happens is you buy the product, she gets a commission. And when you buy that product, she will coach you on how to get started and move through this. I think coaching is very, very important. So you can check out those products. But if you want coaching on it, you can go to her. And generally, she just tells me all these stories. People write them up of how amazing and how good they feel. Now, I do this every, I don't know how many months, but it varies. But if ever I start getting extra weight in my belly, I'll just do this 1 month program. It's called a reset, and I lose 10 pounds. And the most important thing is you're doing it by increasing the amount of protein. So you don't lose your muscle mass. Losing muscle mass is a big challenge for people as they get older. All the drops in energy is we're just not making muscle. We're losing muscle. If you're losing muscle, you're losing energy. If you're losing energy, you're growing old. If you have plenty of energy, you you're not going to grow old. You're not going to have sickness and health problems like that. That's at least one aspect of it. If you don't have love, that's also another problem with sickness. So so we have that program. I want to mention to you that also ups and downs. I noticed my wife 3 days ago, she's having these ups and downs. She was very up for a while, and then she went down. And I asked her if she was doing my supplements, and she wasn't. So she started doing those. And the next day she goes, "Oh, I hit bottom, but I rose above." And that's true. When you go bottom, you come back up. But it was after she took those pills. They don't happen instantly, but within a few days, you find your mood becoming more stable. And that's the elemental orotates. It's the mineral, particularly lithium, bonded to orotic acid, which goes into the brain in microdoses. It's good for you. If you research lithium, you'll see that, oh, don't take lithium. It's dangerous. It's unsupported, because doctors used to prescribe dangerous doses. And that was all hyped up too, really, because they wanted to go from using lithium to help people, higher doses of lithium to help people who are bipolar, ups and downs. They would make it into a bad thing, so people wouldn't use that, and instead they would use antidepressants. And one of my clients, hopefully he's listening, does meditation with us, but he was just feeling out of it. He's feeling like I'm losing it. I feel like something's controlling me. And it's because he was feeling stressed. He went to a psychiatrist who's got him on 3 different drugs, gave him an amped up another drug. And of course you're going to feel like it takes over your brain. These synthetic things that go in and they change your brain in not a healthy way. If you actually look at the research on these, a whole line of antidepressants, you'll see that when they do their study, it's like, maybe as an example, if there were 100 people in the study, 51 people got better and 49 people on not taking the drug, but taking a placebo, a sugar pill, got better. So it's like you do need to feel like you have something that will work for you, so you don't feel powerless. That's a big part of it, is that you feel like, oh, I'm taking this pill. And you can know I'm taking a sugar pill. This is some research was done on this. I know that this is a placebo. It's designed to help me, and take that. And it will still have the same placebo effect, even if you know it's a sugar pill. That's another set of research. But and what's also shown with antidepressants is many studies showing they work less than the placebo. But they don't have to publish those studies. They have to find just one to prove. It's just a random throw of the dice, did it work, did it not work? This is absurd, this whole antidepressant thing. But lithium is actually a natural substance, and you can give somebody too much. So Dr. Nieper discovered that bonding it to a substance in mother's milk, orotic acid, it will go across the blood-brain barrier, and you don't need to flood the body with too much lithium. And if you do have too much lithium, it's a salt. You have the symptoms of too much salt. It's like, is salt bad for you? No, you just don't take too much of salt, and take the healthy salt, which is more the sea salt, as opposed to the synthetic salt, which is your normal salt get in restaurants. So a little bit on taking the elemental orotates, a little bit on the isogenics products, where you can actually get coaching to use them to lose weight. This is company 25 years old. They've got all these studies showing it works, more studies showing this new way that we're using it, which is to amp up your proteins to a much higher level than the way they used to do it. And and you do the research and you lose the pounds. Or if you just want to feel better for a month, just take the shakes every morning, which give you the amino acids, and incubate them. And she explains how to incubate them, which is let them sit in warm water for 45 minutes, and it fully digests the natural proteins so your body can assimilate the protein. Because if you're stressed, your digestion doesn't assimilate protein. Another aspect of the whole stress cycle, and it sort of goes around. If you're stressed, what do? You get pre-digested food as opposed to having to digest it, because when you have to digest it and you're stressed, it doesn't digest. You don't get the benefit of the muscle mass and the amino acids inside of the protein to produce the optimal brain function. All right, so that was today's experience. So, as you can see, I could keep talking, but I need to be getting these words into my book. So have a lovely day, everybody. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. for the Radiant Mind Meditation with Dr. John Gray, the #1 trusted relationship expert, the author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. What many people don't know is that